connection would this be? Text to self. That's correct. Text to self. Is this quote an example of something the teacher said to find? Is this something I specifically said? I need you to go in and find the conflict. I need you to go in and find the moment that Junior realizes that he is poor. Right? So, if it's something that I've specifically said, get in there and find this, that's something that's going to be meaningful. Is this quote about something important to the story or the character? Which of those 4 categories do you think that one falls under? Kizzy. Which, is this quote about something important to the story or the character?
That would be developing.
Right, it's a character. It's we're looking at is it meaningful to understanding the character? So the question becomes, is a quote, while you're reading, you see a line and you're like, wow, that's really cool. Is it meaningful or is it not meaningful? And these are the questions we ask ourselves to decide. And 4 categories we've already learned are the ways that we can think about it. These are the things that we generally are writing about. So what we're going to do is we are going to decide, we're going to take a look at some quotes from the book, and we're going to decide together whether or not that quote is meaningful or meaningless. Okay? So things can be kind of in between though, right? It's not that black and white. So, is that you? Alright, I'll get you this one. I want you to remember while we're doing this, we'll come back to that. So, remember, it's not black and white, right? Meaningless and meaningful, things can fall somewhere in the middle. They're kind of meaningful, but not, the most important thing in the entire book. So what we're going to do is I'm going to give you, I'm going to read out and project on the screen a quote from the book. And I want for you to decide if it's meaningful or meaningless based on those questions that I just gave you. You're going to ask yourself those questions. You're going to decide, is this quote meaningful or meaningless? You will then move across the room based on how meaningful or meaningless you think it is. You'll see back there, we have meaningless on the lockers, and up here we have meaningful. So if I think something is pretty meaningful, I might stand here, right? Not all the way over there, but like here. If I think something is absolutely meaningless, I'm going to stand all the way over here, right? So you're going to have to decide, and you'll move based on that. Now, keep in mind, while we're doing this activity, as with all activities, that our classwork grading system is such. So what does that mean? How do you earn 100%? Can somebody tell me how you're going to earn 100%? Michaela?
Participating, like going back and forth and explaining why we voted.
Absolutely. And what would the sound expectation be during this activity?
Silence.
Silence. So that's the ways that you earn 100%. Anything less than that is going to get you downgraded. All right. So let's all stand up. Nothing. Need your brain. I'll pass. You might want to move the bags underneath the chair so that we don't trip and kill ourselves. Ruben will try and trip me also. Too fast for you.
So slow.
All right, ready?
Oh my gosh.
I'm not even writing down this story the way I actually talk because I'd have to fill with stutters and lisps, and then you'd be wondering why you're reading a story written by such a retard. Is this meaningful or meaningless? Yeah, I've got some people that are like smack up against the wall over here, so they think this is entirely meaningful. So, who we got back there? Ruben, step on out here and explain to us why you think this this quote is so meaningful.
Got you. It's meaningful because
Tell them, not me.
they agree.
Well, explain it to them. All right, tell them then. How's that?
Nah, I'm not talking about that. Alright, so it's meaningful because he's saying why would we want to read a story written by retard. So he basically talked about his
Okay, excellent, excellent. So which category of those 4 categories does that fall under? Character, relationship, insight, or conflict? Character, exactly. Excellent. Anybody on meaningless care to defend their position, or would you like to move? It's up to you. I'm not telling you which one to do. Justin's going to defend his position. Why do you think it's meaningless?
I think it's meaningless because it's really not going to change the story at all. It's really not. It's just how he speaks. It's not going to affect his whole character.
Okay, it's not going to affect his character, you're saying. So it won't change his character, but do you think that it offers us some evidence about his character? Can I prove who Junior is by using this quote? What do you think? Okay. Cynthia?
It's not that.
Why?
For me, it doesn't mean nothing. It's just talking about.
Doesn't mean anything. Keep going.
Doesn't mean anything.
Thank you.
It's just talking about the story. Like it's just saying, it's just starting the story. It's not.
Okay. So,
Wait, let me say.
all right, everybody calm down. Kashmir, you go.
Okay, it is meaningful because, like, if we.
Tell them.
Oh, so this whole context is meaningful because it's telling you that, like how he has, like, yeah, like the face, like we need to know that about the character. It's like something new, like we learning something new about him. If we didn't know that, we would just think he would just talk regular, like us.
All right, I think that she killed that one. All right, we're moving on to the next one now. So, is this meaningful or meaningless? I have to finish reading it before you're allowed to move. Stay still. Stay still. It sucks to be poor, and it sucks to feel that you somehow deserve to be poor. You start believing that you're poor because you're stupid and ugly, and then you start believing that you're stupid and ugly because you're Indian. And because you're Indian, you start believing you're destined to be poor. It's an ugly circle, and there's nothing you can do about it. Meaningful or meaningless? Or somewhere in between.
What do you offer, like,
In between.
It's okay.
All right, I've got most people down this end. Justin. Stand. Those are working just fine. So I've got most people over here. I've got Justin in the middle. So Justin's going to say why he thinks it's meaningless first, or it is only somewhat meaningful.
I think it's going to somewhat meaningful because it really doesn't. It's important. It shows what he's going through, but it really doesn't. Like, it really doesn't.
Tells you how he feels about being poor. Of those 4 categories we talked about earlier, remember insight, character, relationships, and conflict. What does this? Does it tell you anything about any of those 4 things? What's the major conflict in the story? What did we talk about the major conflict in the story? Excuse me a second. I need to get into this group over here. I need everybody tracking over here, and I need silence to the back. If I have to come over again, we'll be consequences. Okay? All right. So, Justin, what was the conflict that we identified? Or can somebody else help him out? What's the conflict that we've identified in this story? Michaela?
The conflict we identified was poverty.
Poverty is the conflict. And you just said that this tells us something about him being poor, right? About how he feels about being poor. So do you think this offers us an insight into the conflict? Yeah? I mean, you're in the middle, so you're not giving up any ground if you agree with me. Okay, so that's where the meaning comes from, is that it's giving us some information about how he feels about being poor. So that said, why are you in the middle and not all the way over here? You're saying it's somewhat. So what makes it somewhat for you?
I don't know.
All right. Could somebody over here tell us why they chose? Are you guys like? Would you be up against the wall if there was room? Is that the idea, or are you just okay? So explain to me why you found it so meaningful.
I find it so meaningful because it's giving us insight on how he feels about being in poverty and why it sucks because he's an Indian. So it's giving us details and insight about the character.
So it gives us insight to the character, so the character's identity, right? You're talking about him being Indian, so identity and conflict. This is kind of a twofer, right? 2 for 1 on this. You could use this quote to support an idea about his identity, or you could use it to support an idea about the conflict. All right, excellent. Let's look at the next one. Poverty doesn't give you strength or teach you lessons about perseverance. No, poverty only teaches you how to be poor. Meaningful or meaningless? Poverty doesn't give you strength or teach you lessons about perseverance. No, poverty only teaches you how to be poor. Oh, we got people all over the map on this one, okay? Ruben, you have a clue. Is that because you're just tired and you want to lean against a chair, or is it because you really believe this is the same? Alright, so let's start on this end. China just made a point of going all the way back and saying this is meaningless. So China, tell us why you think that this quote is meaningless. It has no meaning.
He said like 5 things already about poverty. He talked about it. I don't. Like it's a okay, but he explained that already in the previous quote. So why keep repeating it? Like it just seemed like it's just like a run-on thought or something. Yeah.
Redundant. Excellent use of the word redundant. That Melissa gave to you.
Nothing.
I can tell by your grin. All right, so Melissa, tell me why it's redundant and why. But you're in the middle. You're not all the way back there.
Yeah.
So why are you in the middle then?
Because it means the same thing. Like he said, poverty, and we already know poverty means poor. So why would he say it teaches you to be poor? And it's not possible to teach you how to be poor because you're poor. That doesn't teach you. Yeah.
So you say it's meaningless.
Ruben wants to explain. Ruben's gonna. She's moving. You've changed your mind? We haven't even gotten to the meaningful people. All right, excellent work. So Ruben, explain.
All right. So. That's what I'm saying. So if you keep mentioning something in the story, I mean that means the main thing. That means you're gonna try to get to them. He's living the life of poverty, getting to them. Yeah.
All right, hold on. China wants to tell us why she changed her mind.
I changed because I read it over. It says poverty doesn't give you strength or teach you lessons about perseverance. But I know from background knowledge people that I know they were born in poverty, but they became more. They taught them a lot to fight what they want and stuff, and on up to it. So yeah, it's important because his mindset is different from certain other people. So
excellent. So this not only gives us insight into the conflict about poverty. Oh, look, everybody's moving now. You just sold that. But it also gives us insight into who he is within that conflict, right? All right. Good job. Last one. Ready? The Andrus brothers never did figure out who cut their eyebrows and hair. Meaningful or meaningless?
What was the quote?
I don't care. The Andrus brothers never did figure out who cut their eyebrows and hair. China's going out on a limb.
I'm individual.
I don't even know.
I'm not a follower.
I'm going to start over here because it's got the lesser amount of people. And Michaela would like to do the honors for the team meaningful.
I'm over here because this means that he's such a loser that the brothers would never think that him and Roger would do something like that. That's why I'm over here.
Okay, Kizzy?
I don't understand. Wait, what did you say?
I said he's such a loser. They wouldn't have thought that he's a nobody. He doesn't do anything. So they wouldn't have thought that he would have cut the eyebrows.
All right, Kizzy, do you want to explain?
Yeah, that don't have to do nothing with
Whoa. Academic language, please.
That has nothing to do with his life because that don't make sense to me.
Justin, help her out because that was not an argument. That was